Hey everyone, and welcome to a new Let's Play series for Rome Total War 2. We're actually going to be playing the DEI mod, the Divide et Imperia mod, and it makes a huge number of changes to the game, so it's basically a full conversion mod, and changes everything from economics and public order, and units and battles, and sort of everything basically, so it's really, really good. Highly encourage you to check it out if you haven't done so. I'm just going to run through a few settings first. I actually have got a few submods installed. So the first one is the lowered upkeep mod, and that's sort of a submod for DEI. So the base DEI mod, I guess, changes the upkeeps, or vastly raises the upkeeps and all that kind of stuff. So it just slows the game down a lot. And obviously, given that it's 4 turns per year, the game can sort of can take quite a while for things to build up. So just for this Let's Play, I've actually installed that mod. So it means that we should be able to build up our armies and our cities quite a bit more quickly. So hope that's going to be a little bit more interesting for you guys. Also installed the names and all that kind of stuff back to English. So the initial mod converts a lot of them to their authentic names and religions and all that kind of stuff. So it's just converted them back to English, just make it a little bit easier for everyone to see. We're playing on normal difficulty for both campaign and battles. So the mod actually recommends that you play on normal battle difficulty, otherwise, because that's what it's balanced for. Anything above that, it sort of skews the balance and everything's a little bit off. So we're going with that. Campaign, you can sort of change between normal and hard. We're just going to be playing on normal, so hopefully that should be fine. I've only actually played one run through with this mod with Rome on normal difficulty as well, and did fairly well with that one. So hopefully we can do the same over here. As you can see, we're actually going to be playing with Macedon today, so one of the successor kingdoms to Alexander the Great. And we are basically going to try and recreate what he has done. So if we jump into the strategic map quickly, what we've got here, so actually this is obviously where we start here. We start with 2 cities, and we actually have a client-state relationship with Athens down here, and also have a defensive alliance with Sparta. So that is quite good. So hopefully it means that Greece will stay pretty much locked down for a while at least. So what we're basically going to do, we're going to try and take over these 3 barbarian kingdoms up here. Basically so we can, I guess, secure our borders and make sure that we don't have any sort of big barbarian hordes on our borders and all that kind of stuff. These ones are also generally going to be, I guess, naturally hostile because they are sort of different cultures and all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to try and secure all that. Then, as long as Greece maintains itself, so as long as we maintain our client-state relationship and the defensive alliance with Sparta, and neither of them to become a problem, we're actually going to push east after that. So you're going to push east into Anatolia and then sort of beyond, and sort of down through Egypt, and then basically push all the way over this way, and see if we can basically do what Alexander the Great did, and then, if we sort of end up succeeding that, we may sort of turn back and see how we go that way. But that's the sort of the aim with what we're going to do. So we actually start at war with Tylis over here, and is a barbarian kingdom. So actually, the first thing we're going to do is actually bring our armies over here, and actually can merge both of them together. And we're going to bring them all into this one with our leader, Antigonos. So we're going to bring these units up here and into that one army there. We'll bring our second general over here, and yeah, that should be fine. Also, you put him on patrol region stance. This is sort of a new one in DEI. So basically, it's sort of it's a public order and economic boost for your province that you're in, but it gives you a huge amount of debuffs for sort of combat. So you never want to get attacked in this stance, because if you do, it's an automatic ambush, so you automatically get ambushed. So that's definitely something you want to do. So it just gives us a little bit of a public order and economic boost on that kind of stuff. We're also going to bring our fleet, our starting fleet, over here. And we're going to sort of come around here and hopefully sort of do them a little bit of a pincer from land and sea with this city over here. Also going to grab our spy, which we've got over here, Alexandra, and bring her over here, and then we'll sort of check out what we've got next turn. Thinking what we're going to do, so we've actually in our sort of our home province here of Pella, we are pretty okay on public order and stuff, but over here in this one, into the Thracian province, we actually have a negative public order. And you actually see here, culture plays a massive role in DEI map now. So it has a huge impact on public order, as you can see there, cultural differences, and also things on recruitment and all that kind of stuff. So culture is a really big thing. So what I think we're going to do is actually expand our city here, and actually going to put in a consecrated ground, which gives us +2 public order, and also +2 Hellenic cultural influence. So it means our culture is going to increase quite a bit more quickly. So hopefully we can end up converting that. So if we do sort of achieve our aim of taking over these 3 provinces around here, that means we're going to have the whole of Thracia under our control, which is another reason why I want to do that. So we have a full province here. Whereas down here with Macedonia, we actually don't. So these 2 ones are controlled by, is that Epirus? It is Epirus. So these ones are actually controlled by Epirus. So we may actually end up looking at if it stays with Epirus, I suspect that maybe one of Athens or Sparta will end up taking at least one of these cities. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, I think that's pretty good. Technology, we can jump in and research the first level of military there, so we can get the new upgraded barracks, and we will put that into Pella. DEI actually does a little bit of a different thing here. So rather than having to wait for having to go through the tech tree to get factional, cultural, military reforms, like for example the Romans, like the Marian reforms or the post-Marian reforms, rather than having to go through the tech tree, those are actually triggered in either on turn number or imperium levels, and that's sort of how it's done here. So once we get a certain way through the game, we'll actually get sort of a Hellenic upgrade or reform or whatever you want to call it. So actually another thing they do here is actually you have to research this one, Greek unit upgrades. You have to research this one, which is only one turn, it's really quickly to get, and then that gives you access to a whole bunch of upgrades and stuff for your units, or it gives you access to upgrade your units through the game. So that's what we're going to do. Alrighty, and jump into diplomacy quickly, see if we can actually get any trade agreement with anyone. So probably won't be fighting them, so actually see if we can grab a trade agreement. No, can't. Who else? Athens don't like us, but we do have a client state, so we might see if we can get a trade agreement with them. Nope. Bithynia or Bithynia. Can get on with them even though we end up fighting you. Moderate. No. Why on earth would we do that, Tylis? No thanks, don't need it, don't want it. Egypt, they don't like us, they won't give us one. What about Epirus?
Be welcome here, and
nope. No one wants to trade with us, guys. That's Sardes, Sards.
Be welcome.
Trading agreement, no. Sparta, they don't like us either, but we do have a defensive alliance. Why don't they like us? Trespassers against Sparta, treaties with Epirus, cultural aversion, agent actions, interesting. I suspect that defensive alliance won't last all that long then, if actually looking at that. Tribali, then, they actually quite like us. It's basically just from gifts though, so I suspect that's going to go down over time. And given that we don't want to take them over, I'm actually not going to want to get a trade agreement. So we can't get any trade agreements, which is fine, not too much of a problem. So we hit end turn. And see how we go. So as I mentioned, having 4 turns per year, oh there we go, first turn, ended their defensive alliance. Alrighty then, so they may be a problem, so we may have to sort of readjust our strategy a bit, but we'll see how we go to start with. So as I mentioned, being 4 turns per year, so 1 turn per season, does slow it down a lot, but I think actually is a lot better paced than what it was. And Tribali has actually offered us a defensive alliance. Actually going to say no. We want to fight you guys off, so... peace treaty for 700, no. No chance in hell are we going to give you a peace treaty, so sorry. Hopefully all these levels are okay for you guys, by the way, so... I have lowered it down quite a bit. I'm actually lowered the speech down just a little bit further. There we go, see how that goes. Alrighty, so bring our spy over. So what have they got? They don't have a whole lot here, which is actually good for us. So obviously they're going to have quite a bit of a garrison. So over here they're going to have Celtic warriors, Celtic armed townsfolk, tribesmen, and bowmen. So not too much really, actually. Which is actually pretty good. So actually bring our rest of our fleet and sort of sit them. Can't get them too close though, which is a bit of a problem. So unless we actually jump in and attack, we actually can't get them too close. But is that going to be close enough? Because actually, if we come over here, no, it's not. Because you can't see. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. So just under that little pop-up there, there's no sort of yellow line coming out here. So it means that we're actually not going to get the benefit from these guys. So what I think we're actually going to do is send these guys. No, we can't do that. Can we attack these guys, maybe? These are all going to be in transports, aren't they? So what are these? These are an admiral raiding ship or a raiding ship. Varnos, and these are all going to be in transports. So these guys aren't going to be a threat, but these ones to be. I'm actually quite tempted to do this. I think what we might do thinking this may actually work. So what we're going to do is actually jump in here, see if we can actually do a whole bunch of damage to those transports, and see if we can actually get those numbers down quite a bit so in the garrison army, which is going to make it a lot easier for our sort of stock standard army, our land army, to come in and take the city hopefully fairly quickly. So it's rain, it's actually going to wait, and yep, there we go, dry, cool. Alrighty, so we've only got one ship over here. So this is the admiral ship, so the medium melee ship. So So we've actually got 3 ranged ships and then a heavy missile ship. So this one actually has standard shot. I just need to change this into a flaming shot, so hopefully we can do some damage that way. So I can't see any reinforcements at the moment. Actually behind us, well actually there's one behind us. I'm not sure where the garrison army is, but that's okay.
We shall have victory today, men. By the gods, I feel it in my water.
Pretty cool ship, by the way, isn't it? Heavy missile ship there. Alright, so send all our units to attack this one. So this is obviously a medium melee ship. Try and get the numbers down a little bit. And these guys are in skirmish, so they're just going to hopefully keep out of range. Should be good. Are they in the skirmish? No, they're not in skirmish. Just send these guys back. Just going to ram them, see if we can do some damage in ramming. Not quite enough, but that's okay. Just send these guys back into ram. Quite one more should do it. Go, go, go. Ram them. There we go. And they're gone. They're sinking. So awesome. So it worked out well. So actually you guys stop firing. You don't waste all your ammo. Garrisons, they're actually on land, which is a bit of a bummer. I thought they'd be in transport ships. So anyway, that's not a problem. We'll actually at least we'll be able to take out a few of their ships to start with. What on earth are you doing? Stop firing. These are, so this is the light missile ships, so these ones should go down fairly quickly. Suspect, which is good. Turn back on fire at will for these guys. I'm not really sure why he's still firing over there, but anyway, it's fine. Alrighty, so I'm just going to bump up the speed a bit. Just battles are a lot slower in DEI, so naval battles not so much, but definitely land battles. So what we need to do is just attack these ships here. We should be able to take these guys out pretty quickly. Yeah, so the numbers are already hugely down already, so you can bump up the speed a bit. I think after we've taken over this ship, given these guys are on land, we're actually going to just retreat our army out and so they're withdrawing. I think they'll be gone or down in a minute. I've only got one guy left. Go, 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 catch them. I'm going to say row hard, there we go. It's actually down, they're routed, they're shattered, so yeah, so given these guys on land, obviously we're not going to be able to fight them with our little ships. So we're actually going to just withdraw all of our forces if we can. There we go, withdraw. And bump up the speed until the game's over. So at least we took down a few of their ships. So a little bit disappointed. I thought that these guys would actually be on transport ships. So that does sometimes happen when you attack sort of a settlement. Or maybe it's actually no. Maybe I think about it. Maybe it's only when they attack you. If you sort of siege or blockade a port. Maybe if it's when they attack you. That maybe that's when the garrison army's on ships. So at least that's cool. We took down a few of like their garrison fleet and their little fleet that they had there. So at least we'll be able to use our units in the battle and all that kind of stuff. So there we go. Decisive defeat, but it wasn't really because we took down a fair few. We took down a couple of their ships, so it's fine. Which is good. It's not bad. 150 losses for one man. Which is pretty good. These loading screens actually, after battles, do take a little bit of time to actually develop, sort of process through and all that load up. So not really. I think it may be like a DEI mod thing. I didn't really actually notice in the vanilla one, vanilla Rome 2 as much. So perhaps it's a DEI sort of quirk or something. It's definitely not like a computer issue. So yeah, that's right. Just wait through these. If they sort of like take too long to load, I may end up sort of skipping through them in the video thing, but that's fine for now. I think I'm actually going to run episodes really around about 45 minutes. Generally only run 30-minute episodes, but given that battles and stuff can take quite a bit of time, if we have some big battles and stuff in episodes, we may not get through a whole lot of campaign play. So I may end up running episodes at around 45 minutes, just so we don't run into the hundreds of episodes thing. So a few events up here, which I think we've already seen last time. Decisive defeat. It's not too bad. It's better off than. Wow, go a long way away, why don't you? They only take a little bit of attrition, but that should be okay, hopefully. What we're going to do now is send our army in, and I think we're probably just going to encircle them. Yeah, because that means they're going to attack us next turn, so that's what we're actually going to do. Do have a few cavalry in there as well, so... Alright, that's cool. We're just going to encircle this turn, they'll attack us next turn, then we'll be able to wipe them out fairly quickly. Just send our spy up here. And this is going to be our next target, the Odrysian Kingdom. And rightio, what are we going to do? So events, I don't think there's anything really too that interesting. War targets now available, that's fine. Household expands. Yep, and unseasonal conditions, not a problem. Alright, how are we going up here? So we're still building up this one. Negative public order, but that's... I think it's going to be okay for the moment. May end up having to send our general sort of back through to give it the patrol bonus. We'll see how we go there. What I think we're going to do, we've got 4 extra food, and if we upgrade our capital here, we've only got -2 at the moment, and it's going to give us another, we need another 3, so that should be fine. We're actually going to upgrade our sort of stock standard, our city in here, our Pella, and then once we've upgraded our technology here, we're actually going to grab the next level of barracks here, which unlocks a huge number of extra units that we can recruit, which will be really, really good, so we can do that. I think that's everything for now, so we're going to jump into the next turn. So we're going to try and get through turn sort of as quickly as possible. Sparta offered us a non-aggression. Actually going to take that, yes, because we don't really want to fight. We don't want to get into war with them right now. We're going to focus on ourselves, and we can deal with them later if we have to. Not really sure if you guys can hear the wind and stuff outside. It's actually a big storm going on outside at the moment, so hope that's not interfering with the sound or anything, but if they sort of hear some sounds and stuff, that is what that is. Alright, so these guys have attacked us, as I thought they would. And I think we're going to be pretty okay. It should be okay. Like the garrison armies are never too much to worry about. Especially if we've already got like hoplites now, 2 units of companion cavalry, so that's going to be fantastic. Their 2 units of cavalry is probably going to be our biggest threats at the moment. Actually, move our units up here a little bit, just so we're sort of not behind that little hill. So what we're going to do is bring our units just up here for the moment, and we'll see where they come out. So it's all the units down there, and I suspect the garrison's going to spawn around there somewhere. So what we're going to do is grab our 4 sort of main frontline units and bring them out to around about there, I think. Then what we're going to do, given they've got cavalry, I'm actually not going to put our ranged units out the front, so they could get run down pretty easily. So I'm going to leave our range. They're also only javelin men, so they're enemy reinforcements. Can't see them at the moment. Yeah, so javelin men don't have a huge amount of range, so it's only quite a short range, so they could quite easily get run down by the cavalry, so we're going to do that. But on for our two cavalry units, what are we going to do? So they've actually got medium melee cavalry and a very heavy melee, so that's their general there. So I think what we're going to do is actually put 1 unit of cavalry either side. We're actually going to put our general over here to probably take on the noble, the general over there, and put our companion cavalry over this side as well. Put them both into the wedge formation though, so they get extra charge bonuses or charge boosts in speed, or charge speed as well. I'm going to pump up the speed. So as I mentioned, battles are a lot slow in terms of the actual fighting, so battles do take quite a bit more time. So I'm actually probably just end up speeding through it quite a lot, so hopefully you guys don't mind that too much. What I'm going to do, so we've actually got 3 hoplites, we're going to put them into the hoplite phalanx, and with our pike, we actually put them into the pike phalanx. So they're all sort of set up there, so see the pikemen there. So we're going to base our armies around the pikemen and the hoplites. So I'm thinking actually what we may end up doing, we actually probably have sort of for our main armies, we actually may have hoplites in the centre. Oh Christ, sorry. That was a message, guys. Sorry about that. Yes, for our main armies, what we're going to do, I'm thinking probably hoplites in the centre of our battle lines, and have maybe a couple of units of phalanxes on the side. And I'm going to have the phalanxes on the side because generally cavalry sort of attack the sides. So if we have our phalanxes on the side, that may sort of alleviate that, or maybe even funnel the cavalry into the centre, and where we can do that. So the hoplites obviously are pretty good against cavalry as well, but phalanxes or pikemen phalanxes are absolutely devastating. So I think that's what we'll do. So I'll probably go for the stock standard Macedonian battle strategy of having hoplites and hoplites through the middle, pinning down their sort of infantry and their central units, and then using our cavalry and some lighter infantry units and swordsmen and stuff to come around the flanks and hit them on the flanks and in the rear, and that's how we're going to fight most of our battles, hopefully. It may change a little bit once we get over into sort of some of the eastern territories, once they have a lot more cavalry and things like that, so, and horse cavalry and all that kind of stuff. We'll see how we go anyway. So just running through, speeding up this at the moment. We've got 2 medium spear here, and then a couple of units of cavalry, and these guys won't be too much of a threat. So there's just sort of stock standard garrison units. We've only got 1 unit of archers. I think they're archers. Yeah, bowman. Yeah, so that's actually quite good. So it means they're not going to be able to sort of sit out of range and just pick us off. So the cavalry here are starting to come around. Let's just sort of see what they do. I think they're probably trying to hit us on the rear, so I'm actually, or the flanks. I'm actually going to send our companion cavalry over. I'm actually going to take. I'm actually going to bring our one of our ranged units over here as well. I think we're going to be pretty okay in this battle. There's only sort of light horse, so yeah, so we've already taken out a huge number of their troops already, so they're already shaken. So that's not going to be a problem. That's going to be quite an easy battle there. So I'm just bring these guys over to the side a bit. And just back a little bit there. And just take them all off the skirmish as well, just so they don't sort of run away. These guys are broken already, so that was quite easy. Didn't actually lose a single unit of our companion cavalry. So I absolutely love companion cavalry. They're absolutely amazing. One of the best cavalry units in the game. So you have a lot of fun playing with them, hopefully, over the course of this campaign. Yeah. So as you can see, guys, playing with ultra unit size as well. So that's quite good. Makes things look a little bit more realistic. I'm going to take these guys out of the hoplite. Actually, I'm going to leave them in the hoplite. I'm going to attack on the flank, but it's not too much of a problem, I don't think. I may use some... Given they're in the hoplite phalanx, it's not going to be too much of a problem. So I actually didn't lose a whole lot there for that charge. I think we should be pretty okay now. So the good thing about hoplite phalanxes is they can actually still move in the phalanx mode, whereas pikeman phalanxes can't. So that's a good thing about hoplites there. So these two units are routing already, or breaking already, so that's quite easy. So didn't lose many hoplites there. So make sure we're not getting too much friendly fire in with our javelins in there. Looks like we're pretty much okay. Can be an issue sometimes, but I think we lost a few units, but I think it's worth it, just so we sort of routed them pretty easily. So how are we going here? So the nobles' horse are losing quite easily, quite a lot. Hoplites are still really good, hardly lost anything. Our generals only lost as well, so we're actually winning that battle quite easily as well. We've got our bowmen there. We've actually still got some spearmen and stuff around them, so I'm actually not going to bring our cavalry out yet, because if we do that, it means that they're going to send our spearmen, or their spearmen out to sort of mirror them. So I don't really want to do that. I want to bring all their infantry units straight onto us in our front lines, and then we'll bring our cavalry around after that. And hopefully this general units is already shaken, so we'll see how we go there. Hoplites are fine, and our generals are fine as well. So these guys are already wavering. Looks like they've taken a lot of damage from our javelins and all that kind of stuff, so that's good. Got an upgrade for our hoplites, which is awesome. So I think these guys are going to break quite quickly, or quite soon. It should be good. General's still totally fine. Hoplites are fine as well. We've got a medium melee infantry. That's going to be fine though. I think we should be pretty much okay. Alright, these guys are wavering. So I'm actually going to pull our... Almost going to pull out... Alright, these guys are broken. I'm actually going to pull our cavalry out here. Try and make sure they shatter. Because if they break... Like, they're broken, but they can recover. And we don't really... They've still got, 30 odd cavalry. So I don't really want to have to chase them around. So I'm going to try and sort of make them shatter. And then bring our sort of hoplites back into formation. Alright, great. So the general cavalry or the heavy cavalry have broke or shattered, so they're not going to be a threat anymore. I'm going to say our hoplites into charge here, just that we were sort of out of formation anyway, so we weren't going to get back into formation. General's dead, which means they're going to start wavering a lot more now, so that is fantastic. Alright, attack in there. Actually no, I was going to send you in, I think not yet. What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to bring these guys through. I'm going to take on their bowmen. I'm going to take our pikemen out of phalanx mode, swing them around this way, and then hit these guys from the rear. I'm actually going to send these guys to attack in there. Charge in there. These guys should be fine. I'm actually going to send our general in to attack the flanks of these guys here, or these units here. Should do quite a bit of damage there, and these guys are going to come around and attack the bowmen there. And our pikemen are almost in ready, so I'm actually going to send them into charging this here. So even though they're not in formation, I think it's still worth it. So they're obviously still, like you can see here, they've actually got their short swords and stuff, so they still do a fair bit of damage. To stop these guys getting our hoplites being attacked in the rear, I'm actually going to send our light javelin in here, just sort of take some pressure off. I think they should still be fine. Generals actually shattered one of the armoured townsfolk, which is good. And the companion cavalry has shattered the bowmen over here. So I'm actually going to send these guys over here. attack these units that, or charge the units that are hitting our hoplites on the side, which should still be fine, and then give our general another charge in. So best thing is always to do with cavalry is to sort of charge and then just pull out and then charge again. So that's the best benefit you get, especially when you're charging spearmen. You sort of can run into a lot of problems there if you sort of don't sort of pull them out, keep pulling them out. So that one didn't work well. We got hung up in these stragglers a little bit through here, so that one didn't work as well as we want. So these guys are starting to waver. I'm actually leave our cavalry in here for the moment, just until they break. There we go. So they've actually broken and now shattered. So reform our cavalry over here, and then over here. So these guys are breaking, so that's going to be fine. These guys are shaken, and these ones are... So this is the area that we've actually got sort of worried about at the moment. These guys are going to break quite quickly. Men are wavering, which is the pikemen, so that's fine. I'm just going to pull those guys out. There we go, that should be fine. Obviously, that probably wasn't that smart, because that's not really their forte, is sort of hand-to-hand like that, but that's fine. Sort of learned that lesson, I guess. So you just have another charge in here. Jump into a bit of cinematic mode for the end of the battle. Do love the cinematic mode. Huge, awesome addition to the last couple of games, so... actually just going to end the battle. We could run them down, but I'm not going to really bother. We should be able to take over the garrison, or the town, quite easily next turn. So it's pretty good. 265 losses for us, and they lost 1,500, so that is definitely a very good result for us. So they've actually more than halved their force, where we've actually got, still most of ours left, so... which is quite good. So it should be a fairly easy... I think we're probably just going to automate the battle next time around, so... yeah, so you're going to automate the battle where we can. A lot of times you can't, sort of, in the DEI mod. I'm not really sure if, like, the battle, the bar, the power bar kind of thing, that seems to be a little bit off. I didn't really notice in the Rome 2. Maybe it was the same though, but like a lot, like this battle here, like it showed us that we were like a lot weaker than them. Whereas I think it's more based on numbers for some reason. It seems to be more based on numbers rather than actual strength. So our units are actually like a lot stronger than theirs, but they've actually had more numbers. So that's why we were sort of, a lot lower, even though we were actually, I guess we were a lot stronger in terms of actual units. Alright, so there we go. So that was a pretty good win for us. That's that army down. They've just got some of their garrison left. We destroyed quite a bit of them as well, so that should be fine. Heroic victory. We're actually going to enslave these guys to get some more slaves in our home area. Increase for our general, which is awesome. Household expands, which is cool. We might look at that a little bit later. Attrition for our ships, which is fine. Just going to bring these guys back in over here. Didn't hardly lose anything though, so it's not really too much to worry about. How close can we get them? That's it. Alright, so what we're going to do is actually attack in here. It does actually have still. See the battle, that's a bit of a bummer. Maybe we should have actually chased them down properly, because I mean, they've hardly got anything left, but the battle thing here, and as we go into auto-resolve, we're actually going to lose, and like lose a fair bit of our force. That one's actually not too bad. Actually, 71% of our force still remaining. I'm actually tempted to do that just to speed things up a little bit. Although then we actually want to move on to the Odyssean Kingdom. What are we going to do, guys? Alright, we're going to jump in and actually fight them. Just hopefully we can preserve our numbers a little bit better than what we could if the auto battle thing. So actually they've hardly got anything left. Like these units aren't going to be a problem, and they've got a few, like 100 ships or something. So I'm not going to worry about that at all. But hopefully we can get this one done pretty quickly. So I'm going to try and speed through this one as much as we can. Dry weather, which is awesome. Just going to line up all our units just over here. And they've got the units over there, and then all these ones through here. So what we're going to do is just bring a line in of our main units over here. Actually going to try and draw them out. See if we can do that. So what we're going to do is bring our 2 cavalry around the side, and then grab our ranged units. Have they got any ranged units? No, they don't. Which is awesome, works for us. So actually what we're going to do, we're probably going to sit our ranged units out, just outside their range, and just sort of pick them off as much as we can. Hopefully that's going to entice them into rushing out and attacking us. So we're going to grab our 4 infantry units, and it looks like they're just coming to the center, so we're just going to pick our infantry units in the center here, like this. And then grab our 3 ranged units, set them up here. Actually, there we go, our 3 there. And they're pretty much within range, I think. Looks like they are, so we'll just send these guys up a little bit further. They should be in range now. There we go. So actually going to take down a fair few of theirs. I think it's going to provoke an attack by them. We're going to send our cavalry around the side here and probably hit them from the side, hopefully. They are sort of manning up this area here. So they don't really have a whole lot. They've got heavy melee and stuff, but they're not really anything to worry about. So we're just going to leave our units over here. There we go. So that's what we wanted to actually provoke an attack from them. So we're going to sit our guys back now. Take them off that and put our units onto their sort of modes. Now that these guys are moving, I should send our cavalry around. We've got these units coming here, but hopefully we'll have dealt with most of this before these guys can land. We'll be able to deal with them pretty quickly. Just speed the game up a little bit. So these guys are going to come in and attack us, which is exactly what we wanted, because it's going to work to our benefit, given that we've got the hoplites and all that kind of stuff. These guys look like they're probably going to try and come around and flank us. What you can do, take them off phalanx and sort of just spread them around this way. Rejig our... say these guys to attack them if we can. There we go. Just put these guys back on phalanx quickly if we can. There we go. That's what we wanted. It's not really going to work for you guys, sorry. Alright, you can bring out these hoplite scoots forward. These two ones are engaged here, these ones are engaged as well. We've got our javelins going on. So now javelins actually hit the rear units, just so we don't get too much friendly fire. Bring our cavalry around, and we're going to charge them with the rear, and that should be pretty much the battle, I suspect. And we've got these guys which should be able to deal with fairly quickly. So we're going to speed the game up again. Just run through this pretty quickly. So now hoplites into attack from the side, and then have our cavalry from the charge from the rear, and that should be pretty much game, set, and match. So these guys to actually take off their fire, because we don't want to hit our cavalry or anything like that. General on attack, yeah, that's fine, it's no problem. Not a problem, not really losing any numbers I can see that for the moment, which is good. Just check our numbers, our cavalry numbers, make sure we're not getting stuck into bad fights. And looks like we're pretty much okay. Just send our hoplites to attack forward now. And that should be pretty much it. So cavalry is totally fine, so actually not losing any cavalry, which is awesome. So there we go, so all those units have routers, so we're going to send our 3 hoplites forward and they're routed as well. There we go. Done guys, that was a pretty easy battle, and we only lost 39, whereas if we went with auto resolve, we would have lost only only would have had 79% of our force remaining, so we would have lost around what, so it was what, 10%, 120, 240, yeah, we probably lost around 400 or 500 troops, so we only lost 39 there, so there we go. So the city is ours, which is awesome. First city on our expansion. Done, and yeah, going well. Didn't lose too many. Lost our pikemen quite a bit in that first battle, sort of setting them in hand to hand, which is a bit of a mistake, so definitely learned from that a little bit later on. So I managed to spend a turn or two building up some of our numbers, and then we'll go and recruit maybe a few more units as well, maybe a few mercenaries or something, we'll see how we go. And then we'll go on and move on to the Odyssean Kingdom and take them out next. That should secure our northern borders, make sure we've got a bit of a buffer between there and our sort of our Greek cities. And then we can focus on either Greece, if any problems arise there, or we can actually start pushing east into Anatolia, see how we go there. Alright, there we go, actually going to occupy the city now. So the whole public order thing has changed by quite a bit, so these actually options have changed a lot as well. So looting gives you a lot more money. Occupy actually doesn't give you as much of a public order debuff for the next term, and all that kind of stuff, so... And yeah, so I'm just going to go with Occupy, just we don't really want to destroy anything and all that kind of stuff, so... And these guys will die from attrition quite soon, so that's fine. Alrighty, so we've got our units here, which is awesome, so we're going to recover most of them pretty quickly. It's going to take our pikemen 40 turns, I managed to leave it here for 2 turns. So with the DEI mod now, you actually get a public order negative public order for actually garrisoning an army within a city. So as you see there, it's negative 38. So we actually take these guys out of the city. So actually down to only negative 30. So I actually put these, we're actually out of action point, so we can't actually put these guys on the patrol stance, which gives us a bit of a boost to replenishment rate, but that's fine, we won't worry too much about that. These guys are recovering already, so we're actually going to leave them just here, because they're sort of within our territorial waters, they're recovering, which is fine. And what we're going to do, so for Anthea, we're going to convert this over to a, so what are the options we've got here, a village or a Hellenistic hamlet. So what are the differences? The Hellenistic hamlets means we can recruit a few units, whereas the village looks like it's just sort of a stock standard one. So we're going to go with the Hellenistic one, because it actually gives us plus 1% research as well. Yep, definitely go with the Hellenistic one. Converting this, we haven't got the money to convert it, so we'll do that a little bit later on. We've actually got a spare construction slot here, so we're actually going to build up another consecrated ground. Just so we actually sort of get our culture start building up really, really quickly, because then when we take over these two units, these two cities as well, we want to basically have like a you know, Hellenistic culture. That's pretty good. It's pretty much out of money, I think. We've got our army there, just sitting there not really doing anything, which is fine. Just still building up, upgrading that, so actually jump into the next turn. No, we're not. I should have done that. So, alright, we can upgrade our, firstly our army, and with some traditions, which is good. So what are we going to grab into? I think we're going to go for probably melee defense and armor, given that we're going to hopefully fighting a lot of like defensive battles. That's what we're going to do. The second one, what we're going to do, I think we actually go for not that one, not that one, not that one. One of these two. Probably +5 or 1.5% melee attack and +5 campaign range movement. And for our general, I'm going to always go with the first couple ones in authority, just because I think authority is a really good one to jump into early. Then we'll move into some of these, but just to get sort of boost our authority, which is quite good. So there we go. So it's done. So now I can end the turn. Jump into the next turn. Got a spy up here. They don't have a huge amount here either, which is quite good, so hopefully we'll be able to take over them pretty easily. Is this Athens? Looks like Athens, isn't it? Not really sure why they're actually moving up into our territory, but as long as they don't attack us, that's fine. Hidden Agents exposed, troubled populace, that's fine. Waterclad, Odyssean, and Tribali. Which is quite interesting. Hopefully it means that, because Tribali is this one over here, and hopefully it means that they actually send their army over there. They sort of fight each other, and that's Athens there. I'm not really sure what these guys are doing. Well, they're a client state, so they can't really attack us, although just to be safe, I'm just going to send our general back over here, just near our city. There we go, put you on patrol stance now. Alrighty, there we go. So, public order, -1, so not really sure. Events, -3. Not really sure what the event was. Quite sure what the event is. Oh, there we go. Troubled populace. Thracia. Oh, interesting. Alright, not really sure what's happening there. That's fine. So our units aren't replenishing. Recent events. I'm guessing that's the troubled populace event. Must be the troubled populace event. I wouldn't have thought it would be winter. Could be winter. I'm not really sure actually. I haven't really noticed that before. I'm guessing it's probably the troubled populace, but that's fine. This means our attack on the Odyssean is going to be delayed a little bit. Got a fair bit of money here. I'm actually going to come over here and try and wipe these guys out pretty quickly. I guess they're going to... Oh, there we go. Cool. Auto resolve. And there we go. So they're actually wiped out. So that faction is gone. Which is good. Good. Alrighty. So they're gone. Decisive victory. We should release the characters. I don't really need them. And Tylis has been destroyed and an increase for our admiral. So I'm going to jump in and increase him. I'm going to jump into authority again for the first... probably the first one. I'm just going to jump in and grab -2.5% morale for our things here. Yeah, right. So we've got -20 here, so it's -10 cultural differences, events, and provincial instability, which will go down as well. So, yeah, I think we should be okay once these ones have built up a little bit. Once these are converted over and these two things are built, I think we should be pretty much okay. So culture is coming up quite quickly. So jump into province details here. You can actually see our culture is increasing by 3.6% per turn, whereas the others are actually dropping by quite a bit each turn as well. So Hellenistic culture is definitely coming up, which is awesome. So I think don't really need anything at the moment, although can we actually recruit any units here? Don't really want either of those. What about what have we got here? Cell swords, Thracian warriors, peltists. Actually thinking what I may do is I should maybe recruit a few units here. Maybe a couple of units of hoplites, and what else have we got? Don't need any more ranged units, we got 3, don't need more, well it'd be nice to have more companion cavalry, we can't recruit any yet though. Maybe grab 3 hoplite units, recruit those hopefully, and then we'll probably transfer them over into this army, and then we'll move up into the Odyssean. That's what we're going to do there. Fair bit of extra income though, which is quite good. So if we weren't playing on the low upkeep mod, I suspect we'd probably basically have 0 extra upkeep. And yeah, so it just speeds the game up quite a bit. So, Odrysian Kingdom. No aggression pact, no, sorry, we're going to attack you. So hopefully Tribali come down and maybe wipe out their army a little bit or something, or even if they take over that city, it means their army is going to be quite a bit down on numbers as well. So completed research into logistics, which is awesome. So we jump into the first one in economics, or the civil tree, which gives us a bit more wealth and all that kind of stuff, so that's good. So what have we got? Let's go construction report. We've completed consecrated ground, recruited a few units. Unseasonal conditions, yeah, that's fine. So the unseasonal conditions thing is a sort of a DEI mod thing. So it means that cities within your provinces can actually have sort of these event things that come along with them. So this one is early spring. So that can give you like positive or negative. So it sort of gives you a little bit more variation in your provinces instead of just having like the same effects for spring. You actually have like early spring, and you have like a late spring one, which is the negative one, which means that sort of winter stays on for a lot more, which may get like negative bonuses. So it just gives you a little bit more variance in your provinces and all that kind of stuff, which is quite cool. I enjoy that. So what we're going to spend our money on this time is actually jumping up into the next level of barracks, the Holosodarius barracks. There you go. Yes, my pronunciation of a number of things is absolutely atrocious, so don't hold me to that. Alright, so we can send our army over here, and hopefully next turn we should be able to transfer them into here, and then the turn after that we should be able to move over into the Odrysian, I'm going to get that right eventually. Kingdom there. Actually going to attack these guys. We can't, we haven't got enough money. That's cool. Do that next time, hopefully build up our spy's abilities a little bit further. For now that's totally fine. These guys are regenerating back again, which is awesome. Put them back into patrol. Oops, not raiding. There you go, patrol region. There we go. Should make them regenerate a little bit quicker, and these guys are back up to full health, which is good as well. So we're just going to end turn again. So 42 minutes on the episode. So like I said, probably run around the 45-minute episode for most things. Epirus. I'm not really sure. Given that we've got Athens as a client state. I don't know. I'm actually going to cancel that, say no. Sparta's ended their non-aggression. Fair enough. If you want to be like that, then fine. I don't care. Yeah, so I'm not really sure how we're going to go with the Greek states. I think they're probably going to end up being trouble. Because I think we do get a... No, I'm not going to take that. I think we do get a negative debuff for Sicily and turmoil. So Carthage and Syracuse at brink of war. Attempt to gain control. Small Carthaginian expeditionary forces already set foot on the island. Awesome. Alright, so I think we do get sort of a negative debuff here somewhere. Here we go. Kingdom of Macedon, Hellenic rivalry, a major diplomatic penalty with all Hellenic factions, cultural version. Alright, so we actually do get like a big negative with all the other Greek states. It means that probably eventually they're all going to cause us some problems. This is part of a DEI thing as well, sort of gives you some background, some history on the cities, which is quite cool. So yeah, it's quite enjoyable. Alright, so we should be able to jump up here, and we're just going to transfer our extra hoplite units into this army. Why won't you work there? There we go. Cool, alright, there we go. That's done. So she's going to send this guy back, and this guy is on patrol. There we go. Cool, so pretty much regenerated next turn, which would be fantastic. And then we'll send our guy back here and probably grab a few more units, and then I think we'll probably have enough here. It's only 12 units, it's not a huge amount. May actually get a mercenary or two of some cell swords or some sword units, so we have some flanking infantry rather than sort of using our phalanxes or our pikemen or our hoplites to sort of flank, which didn't really work out too well last time. So what have we got here? We've got mercenary, Agrianian cell swords, and some mercenary Thracian warriors. So both cost relatively the same. The cell swords are a bit more expensive. Cell swords are a lot more heavily armoured, but these ones, Thracian warriors, have a much bigger charge. I actually think we're going to go with those, given that we probably only use them for charging and stuff. They've got a bigger melee attack as well, and weapon damage. Alright, we're going to go 2 of those. There we go. They're going to be our flanking units for that, so we're going to end our turn here. Oh, I should use our spy. I forgot to do that. That's right. We'll do that first thing next turn. Make sure we use our spy. Hopefully get trained up a little bit. Athens has moved. Oh no, Epirus. Oh, don't attack us. Maybe we should have taken that. Is that Sparta though? It looks like Sparta actually. It looks like Sparta actually took over the city there. Subject gains notoriety. I have to deal with that in a minute. War declared, Athens and Epirus. Alright. Construction report. Recruit, finished a few things, which is awesome. Alright, so what happened over here? So Sparta took over that city there, and now Epirus is on our borders. Alright, so maybe we should jump in and see if we can get a non-aggression pact with them now. So I don't want them to send that army through into Pella, because that's going to give us problems. Awesome, cool. Alright, that works for me. What about Sparta as well? I don't want them to attack us either right now. You don't like us though, do you? No, you really hate us. Alright. What about non-aggression pact? No. What if we give you a little bit of money for it? No. Alright, that's fine. Hopefully we'll have to just rely on Athens being a bit of a deterrent, because they do have a fairly big army there. The Spartans, that's fine. I think we're just going to persist with what we're doing. May actually bring this guy back over here and recruit a few units. Because obviously Pella's a big city, so it's going to have a pretty decent garrison. It's got the walls as well, so I'm pretty confident that if Sparta even does attack here, we're going to be able to hold them off. But we may recruit a few more units for this general here, just to be safe. Alrighty then, we're going to use our spy here. Send military sabotage. I think we're going to go for the poison provisions, which is sort of a little bit of a negative health thing for the whole thing. We're in action and you failed, alright? You suck. That's fine. They've got a fair few here. This is actually what we recruited, so they're really good on the attack. But I'm thinking that given we've got our hoplites and stuff, we're actually going to be pretty fine. If we can actually get these guys to attack us, that's pretty good. So, take these guys off there, and we actually can come over and... So what we're going to do, we can bring our fleet here, and we're just going to leave them there like that. Then we're going to bring our army over and attack, declare war. Yep, done, awesome. But we're going to encircle, there we go. Next turn they'll attack us, and hopefully we should be fine on fighting another defensive battle. Alright guys, we're up to 47 minutes of the episode. I'm actually going to put a pause in here for this one, and we'll come back next time and sort of end the turn and fight that battle, and hopefully we should be pretty much all good. So hopefully you enjoyed this first episode, and hopefully you stick around for this series. It would be absolutely amazing if you could subscribe to the channel and like the video. That would be enormously appreciated. So every little bit helps and all that kind of stuff, get the word out there and that kind of thing. So but yeah, hopefully you've all had a good day wherever you're watching from, and I'll see you all for the next episode.